Strong winds, hot, dry weather led to a number of small fires throughout the area yesterday. Coming up, where those fires popped up and how they got started.
The bumps and potholes of Cottonwood Road are still being smoothed out as we speak. Find out how an academy nearby is finding a new way in despite the construction.
Good morning to you. Welcome to your Thursday. It is 6:30. I'm Missy O'Malley with Chet Lehman. Matt Elwell has our forecast in a little bit. We'll get to Cody Boyer's story here and also in just a moment. But yesterday was a very busy day for firefighters in the area, and you may have noticed quite a bit more smoke in the sky.
Yeah, we're going to start off with a fire near the Cardwell area. This one was started by an RV, caught fire while sitting on the side of Interstate 90. Fire crews arrived on the scene around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but by then the flames had spread into a nearby field of wheat. At least 4 fire departments responded along with 2 helicopters. That blaze was knocked down just a few hours later. Crews on scene say the fire was contained quickly enough. No one needed to be evacuated, and fortunately no one was hurt.
And fire crews were also on the scene of another fire near Amsterdam around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. It started by a truck that was traveling through a wheat field. The fire burned about an acre, but crews were quickly able to put it out.
And then the fire everyone could see from the valley, the McCluskey fire burning about 10 miles east of Butte. That fire has now burned just under 1,000 acres. Plume of smoke can be seen for miles. It was started by lightning back on August 16th. In an update this morning, fire is 0% contained, but 50% of indirect suppression efforts, are complete. That's because the fire is in a location considered too dangerous for direct containment efforts. And that, again, burning in some dead timber there near Delmo Lake.
And let's head to Great Falls, where firefighters tackled a fire in the Valley View area. Firefighters were able to stop the fire before it burned any structures. Now, some roads were blocked off and some people chose to leave their own homes. Highway patrol troopers kept vehicles moving through the area while the fire was fought. Yeah,
Matt, you had that big graphic up yesterday with the red all over, red flag warnings, high temperatures, low humidity, high winds. People need to be careful, and then you have a truck driving through a wheat field, starts a fire. Yeah. That's why you have the red flag warnings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take heed, people, when those come out. It's very important, and especially this time of year as the grasses are curing, wheat's ready, and it's gone. Smoke plumes this morning. You can see the smoke plume tracker, the smoke tracker there. Plenty of it in the skies. We'll be watching and monitoring our air quality throughout the day, but we've been at moderate to good still at this point. Temperatures into the 40s and 50s right now. You do have a little bit of cloud cover trying to work through the area. The Bozeman planner calling for a lot of sunshine and warm temperatures, a few clouds late in the afternoon. There is a good chance we'll see some overnight showers and thunderstorms. We're going to break that all down for you in just a few minutes.
Thank you for that, Matt. Now coming up on 6:33, let's head to the mining city where the Butte coroner has identified a man who was killed over a fall over the weekend.
42-year-old Jason Noble died after falling from a second-story balcony off West Park Street Saturday afternoon. Police are still waiting on autopsy results.
And a Butte man faces felony charges after running from police on Tuesday morning in Uptown Butte. Anthony Lemire was arrested along with a passenger in his car after the pair ran from the vehicle during a traffic stop on 2nd Street. They were both caught by police, who say they found methamphetamine on Lemire. He's also charged with illegally possessing a firearm.
Also, progress being made. That's the latest on the heavy construction along Cottonwood Road in Bozeman.
MTN's Cody Boyer has been watching this all summer. He has more details on the progress and what crews are doing to accommodate a school that's right in that construction zone.
It's going to be really nice when it all gets done, but it's painful while it's going on.
The bumps are smoothing out, the potholes are disappearing, yet the orange signs remain where they have been for several months. Bozeman City project engineer Bob Murray says the Cottonwood work is staying on schedule.
It's a big project, so it's still going to take until next year to complete.
Murray adds that if you are hoping to have a better way through by winter, you might be in luck.
One way or another, when the winter shutdown gets here, the roads will be passable.
But right in the middle of all of the cones and bulldozers, Petra Academy. Workers opened a detour to help students get to school, which is its only entrance.
The contractor and the consultant and the city have been in contact with not only Petra, but Heritage Christian and Meadowlark to keep them all in the loop.
Petra Academy's headmaster says 27 letters to the city led to a good discussion between them and the engineers behind the Cottonwood project. with the hopes that some easier turn lanes will be made in the future.
The folks at Knife River Construction have been very great to work with.
Headmaster Craig Dunham says right now the city plans don't include the lanes, but this discussion could lead to them.
We have families who are making multiple trips. I mean, as many as 4 or 5 trips a day into Petra. But more importantly, it's not just Petra that's here. We have Bronken Field just across the way.
Murray says the construction is still set to be completely done by next year, and with the turn lane idea on the table, Dunham hopes for the best.
Nobody's angry. Nobody's mad. What we're trying to do is work together.
In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Patience. Be calm. It is very frustrating.
It's almost winter, then construction season will be over.
Exactly. And a portion of the road at the busy Rocker Exchange west of Butte is being shut down to allow for more road construction.
Yeah, crossroad between Rocker's 2 major truck stops will be closed from 10 in the evening tonight. About 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday. It will allow crews to pour concrete on the road that runs underneath the interstate.
And so then that'll go through the night. So we're hoping to impact less traffic, but through the night do the pour of half of the concrete system for the roadway.
Crews are going to let that concrete set for about a week and then close the crossroad again later next week to complete the other half of the road.
And yesterday, in the first segment of our 3-part series of the status of modern communication service in rural Montana, MTN's Mike Dennison looked at access to high-speed internet.
This morning, he takes a look at cell phone coverage or lack of it and why that coverage maps aren't always what they seem.
These are coverage maps from the big mobile phone companies showing what their networks supposedly cover in Montana. But they're not always accurate as far as what actually works in the hinterlands.
You know, the big carriers want to cover the corridors, the highways. They don't get off of the highways much. And that's where we're lacking is, you know, we have people that live several miles from a highway and they can't get cell service at all.
Triangle Communications in Havre is one of only 2 rural telecoms in Montana that still offers cell service. Most co-ops have abandoned cell service because it's expensive to maintain equipment and keep up with changing technology.
Every tower costs about $500,000. Then you've also got the fiber, because that tower doesn't work by magic, and that's anywhere from $11,000 to $30,000 a mile to put in.
So most Montana cell customers must rely on the big carriers like Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T, or at the least use part of their network. These carriers install a tower where the traffic can pay for it, and that often means not enough towers in rural Montana. Paul Tuss is Executive Director of Bear Paw Development in Havre, which recruits businesses to the Highline and pushes for better telecom service in the area.
It doesn't matter what carrier you have, for the most part. There's simply not enough towers in our region to make sure that if you're traveling from Havre to Malta or from Malta to Glasgow or wherever, that you have adequate enough coverage to make sure that along the entire route that you're covered.
T-Mobile, which entered Montana in 2017, told MTN News it continues to build out its network in Montana, and that its just-approved merger with Sprint should enhance that effort. Federal funds are financing new fiber optic cable in Montana, which is needed to serve cell phone towers. But very little in federal funds is going to build out new cell service. It's also difficult to know the precise areas of need for cell coverage. Federal Communications Commission data say 98% of Montanans have access to adequate cell service, but anyone in the business knows those data, which come from the carriers, are not accurate.
Right here, they have this area saying we have cell service. And I can tell you right now, Mike, depending on how I hold my mouth, depends on whether this thing works or not. Now, they say we need 5G everywhere in the country, which I think is a goal we ought to go to, but we can't forget about rural America. A lot of places in rural America, we got no G, and we've got to get that fixed.
Tester is co-sponsoring a bill to require better mapping by the FCC so money can be directed to the right places. Yet even with better maps, telecom providers, big and small, face tough choices on where to invest limited funds.
Building out these networks is expensive, right? And if you got to make some tough decisions about where you're making money, and unfortunately, because of the rural nature of Montana, a lot of consumers are left in the lurch.
So if we're going to wire up more of rural Montana for cell coverage or high-speed internet, who is going to pay for that? Tomorrow, we'll take a closer look at that discussion. In Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Again, tomorrow will be the final segment of that series. You can see all of Mike Dennison's reports on Connecting Montana on our website. That includes the status of high-speed internet and cell service in rural Montana.
I love how Senator Tester says we have no G.
No G service.
Yeah. Wow. Well, now there is an official Montana State University Bobcat beverage.
MSU and Harrington Pepsi have announced a new beverage for Bobcat students and fans alike. The Gold Rush Huckleberry Lemonade was released yesterday. University staff handed out free samples on campus.
Yum, okay. Last spring, students at Montana State University taste tested various flavors, and the Huckleberry Lemonade was the winner. The Gold Rush Huckleberry Lemonade is being launched just days before, conveniently, the Gold Rush game this Saturday. Do you think they did that on purpose?
The reason we created this is we wanted to keep the Gold Rush alive throughout the year. It's such an amazing Bobcat tradition, and we combined it with the Montana Huckleberry to create a way to keep Gold Rush alive all year long.
Now that beverage is available on campus at the MSU Dining Hall, and it will be sold at convenience stores in weeks to come.
I could use one right now.
Yeah, that sounds
I love that. It sounds great.
absolutely delightful.
Sounds great.
I love that. We do have to take a quick break. Stay with us.